every single moment of it because Kenya is a fan of Love and Marriage Huntsville. And what people don't know is Kenya praised Martel when she and I would talk. And she said this publicly during an IG live we had years ago. So it went from praising Martel being a good father to, oh, he's in my DMs and he's a cheater. Once a cheater, always a cheater. So I'm curious to see how all of that is going to unfold in terms of the season.
And is Kenya maybe, I mean, she has this other guy now, but putting him, is she maybe like a little jealous? Like, does she maybe want Martel for herself?
See, I don't know. So that's the thing. I don't think she wants Martel for herself. Let's be clear here. Kenya knows how to make good TV. I think Kenya saw an in and said, "Let me run with this." Listen. I do not believe that Martel was trying to flirt with Kenya. I don't believe that. And Kenya has yet to reveal what Martel said to her, right? Think about it. In the episode, she never said, well, he said X, Y, and Z. The only thing my
The
girl
DM
said
is apparently missing. It's apparently been retracted.
yes, exactly. As if Donald Trump has something to do with it, you know? So again, I think Kenya saw a way to start trouble. And look, that's why we love Kenya. We expect that from Kenya. And I think Kenya wants to deliver a great show because we don't have Nene. We don't have Kim Zolciak. We don't have Portia. So I think Kenya realizes that the villain role has to be fulfilled by her.
Who is, I'm going to ask you to choose amongst your children now. And you started it, but so they're not really all your children because there are people that came later.
Yes.
But who really is, because we have some all-stars here, who really is the MVP of this cast?
I think it's a tie between Sheree and Kenya. And the reason why I say that is they both do a stellar job at laying everything out on the table. Like they literally do. I don't think people give Sheree her props enough to give her credit that she introduced herself living in this big mansion and then having to move into a smaller location, right? You had Kenya go through these crazy guys, Matt, her husband, dealing with her mother, ignoring her as she's knocking on the door. Those are levels of honesty that we as reality lovers enjoy. And I think Sheree and Kenya are the MVPs. And Candy does a great job too. I saw a clip from an upcoming episode where she did not want to talk about something going on with OLG and the shooting. And she said, I'm not talking about it. I don't like that. I feel like there's a way to talk about it and protecting yourself, but you have to talk about it. And we need to see more of that.
Well, that is what everyone says. I mean, I've interviewed Candy too. I was blown away by I was like, I'm talking to a real person. This is amazing.
Yes.
There is this thing about Candy, it keeps coming up every season that you just want to talk about, your Broadway and your EGOT and everything else. And you don't, but I mean, in this first episode, she went there with Todd and you saw emotion and she's stepping to Courtney when Courtney's coming for her. Like, I don't know. I think Candy is under, but I mean, I actually agree with you. I bow to the altar of Kenya Moore. I think she's forever who doesn't like her. I mean, I don't understand it. I think I don't think there's anything not to like about Kenya. I love her.
And David, look, in quote unquote real life, Kenya is the best to work with. Kenya shows up, she does her job, she lays it on the table, she asks the questions, she's not blaming production. Listen, when you're shooting for hours and hours, I can't tell you how many times people say, no, the producers told me to ask you that question. Kenya has never thrown anybody under the bus. She takes it on the chin. She delivers. She's an all-star housewife, and she's the nicest to work with.
But isn't Candy, I mean, I could see that. Isn't Candy kind of the same way? Because that's one of the things that Andy has said,
yes.
Candy never complain. She never asked for an edit. She just does. I mean, I even asked her, I said, and she said, I think this is one of the reasons why Andy likes me. I don't ask for edits. I do the job and it's a job.
No, when I worked with her, my favorite season of Candy was season 6. That's when Mama Joyce emerged and talked about her disdain for Todd. And think about it. Candy gave you a story about her mother not liking her then fiance and dealing with her aunts having an issue with Todd's extended family. Then you had her mother try to fight her best friend at a bridal store. And let's not forget her first season, she was engaged, and as the season was airing, her fiance died. You know, like so she talked about it at that particular reunion, season 2. So she's another one who really gives everything to the show. She's always been somebody who said, I signed up for it, let's do it. And I also think, look, I think Candy always knew too that people would assume she's this elevated person because she's a Grammy winner. She comes from this very successful girl group.
She's loaded.
She's loaded. So I think for her too, she always felt like I have something to prove because she's not like a Nene or Kenya where she's like, unless you get her there. But she definitely has earned her peach for sure.
I think so too. Now, in typical fashion, you know, here we have this great show, and we're all excited to watch it. And we have some non-all-stars here, but we'll get to that in a second. But we got some things going on off camera with some of our people from the past. I mean, I saw your post, like Kim and Croy. I mean, your mouth is dropping open. Like I take it, you said this on your Instagram or on your podcast. You're shocked? Beyond.
Oh, beyond. So David,
talk to me.
I was with Kim and Croy. I had this late night show on called The Nightcap. I reunited the OGs from Atlanta. Nene wasn't there for obvious reasons because she was dealing with things for the network and she didn't want to show up. I invited her though. She said no.
She responded to you?
Oh, she did. No, I spoke to Nene last week. Me and Nene are good. We're in a good place.
Okay.
So
I'm just looking out for you, Carlos.
Oh, no. Me and Nene are good.
Somehow,
I love you, Nene.
Somehow you go to whatever, and yet you're in a good place with everyone. No one's blocked you, but yet I say one word that's actually true, and I get blocked by one of my favorite icons. I mean, Melrose Place. Like, I will not let this deter me from my love for Lisa Rinna.
No, Lisa Rinna, if you're listening, unblock him. It's not that big of a fucking deal. I expect more and better from you. Okay. So we had Sheree, Deshaun Snow, Lisa Wu, and Kim Zolciak Bierman. So David, during the getting ready, you know, for the live appearance, Kim Croy in the dressing room. This is literally like a year ago today. Kim and Croy in the dressing room, inseparable, lovey-dovey. We spoke for a good 30 minutes. Again, this is off camera in the dressing room. We're laughing, we're joking. He looks good. She looks fucking amazing.